Howdy guys. Alright, today I am going to go over some illegal actions the military has been doing, and our government as well. There's some hotheads that are up in the Demil office, primarily the guy over it. And I believe Jeffrey's his name. He's done some things which are illegal. He's changed demilitarization codes. He hasn't changed them. He's actually requiring that certain things are demilitarized in a certain manner or shredded. So what he's doing is the Humvee, for instance, it actually should fall under a code Q for demilitarization, which basically means it has to have hardly anything done to it for demilitarization, next to nothing. It's basically fine as it is, depending upon the type of Humvee that it is. Okay, so but several of them fall under a Q code. What they're doing is they're saying, hey, all Humvees are C code. You have to put everything now under C code. And in 2018, as of then, is when it officially goes into effect. However, they're already implementing it. This year, right now, they're doing that. They're requiring that all the Humvees that aren't already under contract, like with GovPlanet where they auction it off, they're requiring that they be shredded. That's illegal. They're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to do that at all. First off, by the way that the coding works, for one, and second, because it shouldn't even be coded in as a code C. So I'll go over some things. The reason I'm doing this is because I won a bid at auction of 37 Humvees. There's a bunch of torpedoes and mines and bombs and stuff that are part of that thing, Humvee egress vehicles. And the contract is what I'm going to go over with you guys, because what they're telling me at the DLA, so that's the Demil department, what they're telling me is that all the Humvees and every single thing in this contract have to be shredded. That's completely contrary, though, to what the actual contract says. Completely contrary to it. Basically, they're trying to tell me something that's not even required. And legally, they're not allowed to do that because that's not abiding by the contract on their end. So what happens is, if this is the case, I have to go to a briefing, basically, and they would go over everything with me and make sure that I understand exactly what's required with the demilitarization and mutilation process so that we're on the same page. So I got a call from the guy that's over the processes that I would be doing, and this unit is over in Guam, okay? So I have to go there, set up shop, demilitarize, and mutilate the things that require it. Well, he told me that everything requires shredding, and I said, no, it doesn't. According to the contract and how it is written, not everything requires shredding. And he wasn't rude. He was actually really nice. And kudos to you, Peter, for being nice. That's a good thing on your end. I really appreciate that. But he heard me out, my explanation as to why it doesn't require shredding. And he said that I would need to go and talk to the supervisor. And I needed to call in there and talk to them, because if they give him an approval letter showing that it does not require shredding, then he wouldn't have to sign it off as having to be shredded. In other words, I wouldn't have to do that. But until he gets that from his supervisor, he would have to, everything basically has to be classified as shredded. So that's an issue, because first off, there would be a loss of money for me if everything was required being shredded. Although I didn't pay a whole lot for the lot, the fact is all the equipment and the processes and the facility necessary to do it all would cost a lot of money, and I wouldn't be profitable. So it would be pointless to do, and I would probably actually be losing some money on it. So not only that, but according to what the contract said, I bid on it according to what it said, so that I could go and demilitarize these Humvees, put them in shipping containers, ship them to the U.S., do everything that I need to do for registration and titling, and get them titled and sell them to people, okay? Or, worst case scenario, if I couldn't title them for some reason, I could at least part them out, because these are the nice Humvees with winches on all of them, 4 speeds, stuff like that. So there's a decent profit margin in doing that. So when they tell me shredded, I'm like, no, that's not what it says. So here, I'll go over this with you guys and kind of show you what I went through with Peter and with the one of the reps at Demilitarization, and then also the supervisor. I sent an email regarding this so that I could explain it to her and why it does not require shredding. So it says right here, truck utility. I outlined this in yellow. Anything in yellow does not require mutilation. It requires demil. Anything in orange requires mutilation. Truck utility, okay? That is demil. Inert dummies, ordnance, and Humvee egress assist units, okay? Those things require mutilation, which is probably a good thing, because nobody needs something like that they could go and fill up with explosives and blow it all to heck. And then at the bottom it says all property in this lot is Demil C and Demil D. Demil C, so the Humvees, they fall under code Demil C. All the rest of the stuff in the whole unit fall under code Demil D. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, since we have that clear, I am going to come over here to the surveillance plan. This is attached to the auction, basically. It's a surveillance plan, so you can review it to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So we'll go over this surveillance plan a little bit. I'm not going to go over it in total detail. I'll reference the parts that really are relevant to what I'm talking about. Okay, right here, 1, references. This is an important section, number 1. So what it's saying is these things here under the references, okay, all this stuff right here, this stuff is what you reference to know exactly what you're going to do for the demilitarization process. It shows you the manual that it's in, right, not there, right here. Okay, that's the manual. There's multiple volumes in the manual. And it says right here, volume 2 and volume 3, tables, categories, and degrees found in paragraph 4 and 6. So it says right there, category and degree found in paragraph 4 and 6. So it's telling you the category that it falls under, which is in paragraph 4, and then the degree at which things are to be done, which are found in paragraph 6, okay? So they're separate. These things are itemized in paragraphs, okay, which completely separate them from other paragraphs. It's not one big compilation of everything. And they do that for a reason, so that it is separated, okay? So basically this is going to go over the stuff required, all the safety things and stuff. Description tells you what's inside the bid that I won, what's all included. Humvees, there's 37 of those total. Egress unit, which is basically a practice unit for the military that swivels on a platform, and they can like do fake rollovers and stuff, and that way they can practice getting out if something more like that were to happen. Dummy mines, MK-62 underwater mines, MK-52 underwater dummies, dummy torpedoes, and general purpose dummy bombs, okay? All that stuff. Then we got some coding and labels on everything, NSNs, which is basically the number for what they are. It's kind of like a UPC. Weight each, 45. I don't know why it does that. Oh, quantity or weight. Okay, so it's a quantity, 45. Property location, it's over in Guam. Now 4, this is critical. This is an important section right here. Section 4, okay? This is one of the most critical components of the contract. It clarifies everything right here. Almost everything, okay? So, Demil code C, and then it lists what's under Demil code C. Demil code D, it lists what's under Demil code D. So, let's do this, just so that I can show you guys, okay? I'm going to back out of this right here, and we are going to come over here and look up the codes, okay? These are what the codes are. Demil C, you can see it right there. Remove and demilitarize installed key points. items as Demil code D. So what's Demil code D? That is required. Okay, Demil required. Destroy items and components to prevent restoration or repair to a usable condition. So in other words, you've got to destroy whatever falls under code D, okay? What it's saying is a code C. What that is saying is, on a Humvee, for instance, not all of them, but on some, you have a gunner platform, a gunner ring, a gunner platform that you stand on, the mounts, everything like that, okay, and it swivels around. That right there, and when you look it up in the Demil manual, falls under a code D. It has to be chopped, okay? You have to make it so that it cannot be functional. And then after that's done, you're good. So basically you have to uninstall, you have to take off these things on the Humvee and make them so they're either not operational, or you have to make them so that they would no longer be classified as a code D. Either or, because there's certain things you can take off where you could pull something out and it would no longer be considered a code D. Such as tires on a Humvee. They have the run flats in them, which is basically a rubber ring inside of the wheel. And if you get your tire shot at, you're not going to be riding on the rims of the tire, like the metal portion of the tire. You're going to be running on the rubber ring instead, so that it doesn't ruin the metal rim. That's an example. Okay, so we'll go back over here, and we'll come over here to, wait, not working. Come on. Come over here. There we go. Okay, I'll make this big again. Okay, so now that we understand what a code C and a code D is, right here, Demil code C verified as correct is found in DoDM 1462.28 Volume 2, Appendix 1 to Enclosure 3, Table 9, Category 7, Paragraph B. Wow, huh? Okay, that right there is the Humvees. That first one that it listed right there is the Humvees. Okay, that's what I care about. I don't care about any of the other stuff in here. I can destroy the other stuff because it should be destroyed, except for the Humvee egress. Those are kind of neat. That'd be pretty fun to have. But it's not a big deal for that, because realistically, like, you can't use it. It's not a vehicle. It's a stationary thing, but kids would have fun in it. Okay, so the Humvees falling under category code C, right there, it's listed. It's completely separated from code D. Then right there, Demil codes D, verified is found in blah, 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 blah. Okay, Appendix 1, Enclosure 3, Table 6, Category 4, Paragraph C, and it'll go through and list everything under there, okay? And below that, it has an 8. So what it's doing is it's given more clarification for the things that are considered a Demil code D. You can go through that and read it. If you want, it's basically saying that the bombs and torpedoes have an inert filler in them. You've got to destroy them to a certain degree. There's certain methods that you can use to do that. 5, it's saying demilitarization, mutilation statement, demilitarization / mutilation as a condition of cell is the most economical method. In other words, what this is saying, it's not cost effective for them to ship all these things across the sea to be able to get this done in a facility themselves instead of contracting it out. Okay, that's what it's saying, or instead of selling it off. Now 6, this is a critical section as well. Now this is where they're telling me it says it has to be shredded. And that's not the case because of the way that this whole contract is written. Okay, so method and degree of demilitarization. Reference DoD M1 or 4160.28 Volume 3, Appendix to Enclosure 3, Category 7, Paragraph B. It's almost the same lookup as the other one for the Humvees, because that right there is for the Humvees. Category 9, Paragraph 9B, Category 4, Paragraph A. So it's listing, okay, everything, the method and degree. In Manual Volume 3 is where you would find the degree to which you would demilitarize something or mutilate it, okay? That book shows you exactly how you would do it and what's required. So it's referencing that book to know that those particular things that fall under that category have to be done in that particular manner. And it says it right there. Each item will be assigned specific demilitarization mutilation requirements. Okay? So that right there, it will be assigned. It's been assigned already. If you reference manual, volume 2 in the manual, and go under where it looks at, it references how it should be done. And then it also has volume 3 that you would go to know exactly what you would do to have that done. Now since we know that, okay, let's go and look at it. Let's take a look at what it's referring to. Okay, so we'll go back over here to section 4, and right over here on the very first one, DoD Manual Volume 2, Appendix 1 to Enclosure 3, Table 9, Category 7, Paragraph B. Okay, I already pulled it up so that we don't have to do that, and that is right here. Okay, we can see Table 9, Category 1, B. So right here, guys, right here, see that? Okay, that's what we're looking at. It says ground vehicles not listed in paragraph A, because the ones that are on the auction for the items I have, they are not armored combat ground vehicles. They don't fall under that category. Okay? So they fall under category B, which actually they don't, because if you go down further in here, if you do the proper procedure in coding an item, it would fall under a code Q. It wouldn't even fall under a code C, because it specifies down lower that a particular line item, the way that they have everything set in their system, if it falls under that specification, which I don't remember what it is, it's like A606A, whatever, which is what the Humvees fall, these particular Humvees would fall under that category. They fall within that. Therefore, they would actually be a code Q. Because some Humvees don't fall under that category. There's certain specific types that are like military specific vehicles where they're built with all these things on them for a certain type of whatever they're going to do. Let's say launch missiles off of it, like a launch system Humvee or something. Okay, so most of the Humvees don't have to be shredded. I would say, yeah, most of them don't, and these Humvees that I'm getting don't. Okay, so they should be a code Q. This hothead over the Demil department, he's saying, I don't care if it's code Q. You're gonna make it so that they all have to fall under code C. In other words, he's completely going against what the Demil process says to do. He's not allowed to do that. They have to follow, there's strict guidelines. They've got to follow these things. It's illegal for him to do that. And so right here, ground vehicles not listed in paragraph A, and trailers that are aimed or are specifically designed to serve as a firing launch platform are a code C. See that? Demil code C. So even according to this right here, they're a code C. Even according to this. And a code C, we already read what that is. You have to take off the parts that would be considered a code D. You have to remove those key points. Okay, now let's see if I have it pulled up. I do, right here. Okay, so let me go back over to here actually. So this right here, okay, the surveillance plan. We'll go under to section 6 now, okay? And we know that it clearly states each item will be specifically assigned. We've got that. We know what those assignments are, okay? So we're going to look up the manual now, volume 3. Let's see if I can zoom out. Volume 3, Appendix to Enclosure 3, Category 7K. We're going to look that up. And that is found right here. And I'll put a link to these manuals in the description so you can go to the internet and download them yourself to cross-reference everything I'm doing and verify it yourself, okay? So we're right here in the spot that it tells us to go. Okay, so you can scroll down further, you can see it right there. Okay. B. Demil code C. Key point items. Sample key points for vehicles, and then it goes through the whole list of what it is. Weapons firing, mounts, and specifically reinforcements for those mounts, communication equipment, ballistic gas wiring, and or harnesses and assemblies. If you actually go through further in the Demil manual and you go through itemized things that are listed in here that would be considered key points, some of them they did a really crappy job at writing this, because a lot of these things actually don't fall under a code D status. They fall under a code C status or a code A status. So most of these things that are on here wouldn't even have to be shredded or mutilated in any way. Some do, like weapons, weapon systems, mounts for the weapons, those things do. Communication equipment, it does as well. Ballistic glass, it does. Wiring and cables, if it's part of a communication system, it does. But if it's just part of the vehicle, it doesn't. It's going to go in and say engine specifically designed or modified or configured for the vehicle. Transmission, stuff like that. The thing is the engines in the Humvee are not Humvee specific. You can get those engines. They go in civilian trucks, civilian vans, lots of different types of things. Okay, is what they're used for. It's not a Humvee specific vehicle. Now the transmissions, okay, those aren't any type of specific. It doesn't state it like that. But if you go and you reference the other parts of the manual under the demilitarization codes that they would fall under, it does not fall under a category or a code D. So you don't have to shred it. But because it's on a Humvee, okay, so get this. Gov Liquidation, they auction off the actual Humvees, their transmissions out of Humvees. They actually auction them off. When they auction them off, you have to fill out an end-use certificate, okay? If you purchase the item. It's the stupidest thing ever, because that transmission has nothing to do with anything specific to a Humvee. Those transmissions are found in all kinds of different vehicles. And they don't even fall under a code D anyway. Obviously, because if they did, Gov Liquidation couldn't auction them off. They wouldn't be allowed to. They'd have to shred them. And so it just doesn't make sense. This manual's full of so much crap and, quite frankly, illegal things. Because it states certain things that would actually be code C or A as code D, and they're not. So even if I had to remove all these things that it says, even if I had to remove all those things, a lot of the vehicle would still be fine. I'd still have a lot of it. I'd have the winch systems, okay? I'd have the bumpers. I'd have the tires, because I could take the run flats out and they wouldn't be classified as needing to be destroyed. I'd have the doors. That's a whole different category right there, the doors. I'd have the slant backs. I'd have tons of stuff, even if I had to get rid of a lot of things. I'd still have a lot left, okay, to use. But what they're telling me is no, you've got to shred the whole thing. And this is why they're telling me that. We will go over why they are telling me that it has to be shredded. Okay, we already know right here, and I've said it a bunch, okay? Right here, we already know. That is why. Those are the classifications that they receive. Those are the requirements that they fall under. Okay, the stuff that we just went over. We know that that's what it's talking about. So we go here and read the different things. A. Demilitarization / mutilation. If everything was to be mutilated, it would just say mutilation. Off government premises at contractor's facility. B. Purchaser will complete the demilitarization / mutilation with the certifier and verifier present. Okay? Okay, big deal. That's cool. Now C, here's what they're telling me. They're saying I have to shred it because of this. Okay, C right here has nothing to do with anything that falls under a code C. C only has things to do with items that fall under a code D. It has nothing to do with the code C, it has everything to do with the code D. Purchaser must completely destroy material that will result in destruction of the item to prevent reuse, recognition, or reconstruction of the item to the satisfaction of the government-appointed verifier. Okay, because it already told us up here, okay, what method we would use to either demilitarize or mutilate things, we know that C is talking about something that would be a code D. It's obvious. Because it wouldn't have C pertaining to a code C item. It's just, it wouldn't. That's not how the process is done. D. Now it's going to go through automized size reductions, shredding, all that kind of stuff. And then F. This is talking about code D as well. It has nothing to do with anything that's a code C. We already clarified that a code C does not need to be mutilated. Okay? Only key points that would be considered code D need to be mutilated. And what it's saying is, if they're code D items, there's no parts removal, harvesting of parts is forbidden. In other words, you can't take a gunner ring that you chopped and take the gearing system out of it, okay? And keep it. You're not allowed to do that. Why? Because if one group of people keep the gunner ring themselves, another group of people keep the gearing, another one keeps the mount, then you could take all these individual items and piece it together. So what they're saying is, no, you can't do that. You have to completely destroy that item. You're not allowed to harvest parts out of it. Which, okay, that makes sense. Excuse me. And it just goes through. And right here it says all military markings and data plates are to be completely shredded and destroyed. That would fall under a code D as well. Anything that's a code D, it wouldn't have nothing to do with a code C, because a code C, according to the manual, does not require that. Even if it did, who cares? We can just take pictures and make it when we get to the land, whatever. Not even that. Just go and make your own identification for it as though you're building a car from the ground up. It's easy to do. I mean, you've got to do that sometimes, actually. So, it tells you about draining fluids, like all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it goes through basically the rest of the processes and when it's to be done, the time frame, and all that kind of stuff. You gotta weigh it. You gotta check it off. The items aren't actually considered yours until after it is verified and signed off. In other words, they gotta go through and make sure you did the whole process properly. And then, once you meet qualifications and you've done it properly, they will sign it off. That's why Peter told me, he's like, hey, if you get it from my supervisor, then yeah, we're good to go. I can totally sign it off. But the thing is, they changed some of the regulations, and if one of these guys, the verifiers, if they sign it off as it's been done properly, and then, let's say further down the road, someone had stashed something away, or didn't destroy it all the way, well, it could come back to him, and he would be put in jail, okay? He'd get busted big time for it. So these guys, I mean, a lot of them try and follow it to the T, because it's jail time for them. They can get put in jail or prison if they don't abide by it. So I'll just scroll down here so you guys can see some of the stuff. They'll make sure 100% of the material is being done, demilitarized properly, okay? Alright, so that's the end of that. So as you guys can see, these items do not require mutilation. The humvees, they don't. Yeah, you got to take some parts off, some key points. Yeah, you do. You don't even have to take off all the key points it lists in that description, because those key points, some of them aren't actually key points when you look at the other different methods in the Demil manuals. And so what it comes down to is it does not require being shredded. They are saying that it does because of what it says in paragraph 6 in C, and I think it was F. They're saying that that is applied to the whole entire thing, which it's not. And it's obvious that it's not. It's clear. It's made clear in the contract that it's not. So, first, they shouldn't be code Q. Second, they're code C. Third, they're trying to make a code C be done as though it's a code D. That's not how it's supposed to be done. They're doing things illegally, quite frankly, because they're wasting our tax dollar money. They're throwing these things away. They're literally shredding them. They're crushing them, pulverizing them. They're doing that. And it costs, you get an average of $150 out of a Humvee in scrap, okay? That's it. The whole process that they go through to even get the Humvee to the point to where it's sold at auction costs them around $500 per vehicle to do. And so financially it doesn't even make sense. But they don't care. It's not their money. Well, guess what? It's my money. It's your money. If you're in the U.S., it's your money. You guys should care. You should talk to your congressmen. Talk to these leaders, okay? Let them know the abuse that's going on with this, because the only way that it's going to be stopped is if you do. And I am in the process of writing up a letter to send to congressmen, and I'm going to blast it out there like wildfire, because this is not okay. And I'll provide that letter to you so you guys can rewrite it in the way that you'd like to, and you can send it to your congressman, because they've got to stop this. They've got to stop throwing our money down the drain. President Trump himself actually said that the waste that's going on in the military has to stop. And so, even he's on board with it. I'm sure there's a lot that he doesn't know, though. You know, that's not his expertise. And it's our congressman's job to make sure that things are being abided by. Those guys in power, it's their job to make sure that the Department of Defense is doing things the way that it should be done. And hotheads that are in power that say, I don't care if it says this, we're doing it this way. No, that's not okay. That's illegal to do. And guys like that should be put in prison. So, this is one of the things that I'm going through right now. I wanted to share it with you so that you guys could see the illegal actions that guys in our military and our government are going through. Totally illegal. And just throwing our money down the drain, and it's not okay. And I'm pretty irritated about it, so I'm sharing this with you. I'll be doing some more videos on this kind of thing, going through some different things, showing you some things in greater detail. I hope you liked this video, though. Thank you for watching. Please go and click the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Click on that bell so that it notifies you when new videos come up. I'm going to be doing some videos on this particular thing. I've got the bus videos as well that I'm doing. There's lots of different things that I do. So, yeah, just like this, comment, subscribe, please, and please, please, please share. Okay? All right, guys. Everybody have a wonderful, 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 wonderful day. Have a good night, whatever it may be for you, and peace.